Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Now, today's video is going to be like a sit-down video with you guys. I get asked all the time about tape and hair extensions, and I want to answer all of those questions you have. Now, before we dive on into things, I just want to say if you guys like this video, please subscribe to my channel. It means the world to me and it really does help me out. So if you guys want to see more of my face, I am also on Instagram. You can add me at Abby Brooke with 2 E's. And yeah, without further ado, let's jump into it. Okay, so I am going to break this video into 2 parts, probably in the same video though. So I'm going to do a half sit down portion and half at the salon when I am installing tape-ins tomorrow. So I will leave a little time mark down in the description box if you just want to skip to when I'm at the salon. But here are all of your questions. So the most frequent question I get asked by far is usually from girls who have never had them before, and typically what they always ask me is, number 1, can I wash my hair with them? And number 2, are they going to fall out? So the answer is tape-in hair extensions are permanent hair extensions. They typically last in your hair for about 6 to 8 weeks. Now that is dependent on how well you take care of them and whoever is installing them, how far they leave room in between, and what kind of brand you use, etc. But as for washing your hair, you can 100% wash your hair. There is a special way to wash your hair, which when you're washing your hair, shampoo your root, because that is what's greasy. That's where you want to get the dirt out of your hair. You don't necessarily have to shampoo your ends, as your ends aren't really greasy. If you find that you have a lot of like product buildup or some hairspray left over or anything like that, honestly, once you shampoo your root and you put your head back, the shampoo's gonna go over top of your ends anyways, so it's really not important to get your ends. And sometimes when you do shampoo your ends, it leads to split ends and it does make your extensions a little bit weaker over time. Now, as far as conditioning your hair goes, you basically just want to do everything in reverse. So do not put conditioner on your root, as what happens is literally your conditioner will just make your tape-ins slide right out. This really goes for any type of extension, but if you have extensions, please do not put conditioner on your root. Your hair will be 100% fine. You shouldn't put it on your root, even if you don't have extensions. Literally, ears down is where you condition, and just leave your root. It doesn't need conditioner. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say it, but your root does not need conditioner. And if you have extensions and you find that they are falling out, most likely case is that you are putting conditioner too high and it's catching on your extensions. Even if you take a little bit of hair in the front and put conditioner on, when you go to rinse that out, it still touches your bonds. So please just don't. Okay, so now let's talk about how to sleep with extensions. Sleeping with extensions is totally where you can make or break your extensions. This part is going to make your hair extensions last for a year, or how you're going to need new extensions next time you go back into the salon. Because what happens is most people traditionally have cotton sheets. Now, that is totally fine, but what happens is as you roll around on your cotton sheets, each individual hair strand gets stuck in between the cotton threads. And then when you turn your head, it breaks off and it kind of snaps. Same thing goes for knots. When your hair is down and you're rolling and tossing and sleeping and everything, what happens is your hair gets knotted, which is okay. But what happens is when you go to brush your hair extensions out, you're going to take that knot with it, where your real hair is attached to your scalp, so therefore it can reproduce hair. But your extensions, that's all you got. So you want to make sure that they're most knot-free as possible, so you aren't just watching all your hair come out in your brush. So what I recommend while you're sleeping is to just throw your hair in a basic 3-strand braid, nothing crazy. You can do 2 if it's easier for you. You can do 1, you can do a French braid, you can literally do whatever. Ponytails are different. I get asked all the time, I'm too lazy to put my hair in a braid, can I put it in a pony? Honestly, girls, it takes 2 extra seconds to put your hair in a braid. If you don't know how to do it, hell, get your boyfriend to YouTube how to do it and let him braid your hair. My boyfriend knows how to braid my hair. When I am like too lazy or if I'm drunk or something, I'm like, babe, braid my hair. And he's got it. It might not be the best braid, but it's better than nothing. Now, tape-ins are one of the most universal hair extensions there is, which means, honestly, for almost anybody on the planet, usually tape-ins are a good option. They're so universal. If you have short hair, if you have very blunt hair, if you have fine hair, if you have super thick hair, no matter what, tape-ins are an option for you. It's kind of funny because where you live actually determines what kind of hair extensions you get done. Not just by the stylist and what methods that they offer, but also what your friends have and what you see online in your city and everything like that. It's so funny because here in Winnipeg, tape-ins are so popular. Like, I install so many tape-in hair extensions, it's not even funny. And girls just come in wanting tape-ins because that's what their friend had and everything like that. Now, it's awesome and it's great, but it's funny if you take New York, for example. New Yorkers hate tape-ins. Pretty much anywhere in the States hates tape-ins. I don't know why. I think it's like a Canada thing. I don't really know. But it's just funny because girls in New York love their keratin infusion extensions and just wouldn't even blink an eye at tape-ins. And same with like Chicago, they love their beaded extensions and still not really big on tape-ins. So honestly, it's just your city you live in as well. It's not just you or your stylist, it's your friends and what you see around you, which is really funny when you think about it at the end of the day. Now, if you are a stylist wanting to learn how to install tape-in hair extensions, I actually do have a video that I just launched. If you are looking of where to buy it, you can head over to hairologystudio.com, and under the hair tube section, we have all of our education videos, and you can see how exactly I install hair extension. Now, a really awesome feature about tape-ins is because they are so flat, literally, if you want the world's thickest hair and you have like pretty fine hair, you can usually achieve that. Now, because literally like they are so freaking flat. They're so flat that you can just stack them in your hair. And what's nice is that if you go and you get your hair extensions done for the first time and you get home and then you're like, you know what, I really want it thicker, you have that option to go back to your stylist and ask them to order you in another pack or another 2 or another 3 packs if you want, because they're so flat. Literally, you can just fill up your head and keep filling them. Whereas a lot of other methods, there's only so much hair you have, which in return, there's only so much extensions you can put into your hair. Now let's talk cost. Cost is where people get kind of offended sometimes who have never had extensions before. Extensions are extremely pricey. They are a luxury. They are a want. They are definitely not a need and not a necessity for sure. Now, most salons you go to kind of have their prices broken into 2. They have their what you're going to pay for the cost of your hair, and then what you're going to pay at the salon for getting them installed, colored, toned, whatever the haircut, whatever that part in salon is, and then the cost of your actual hair extensions. Now, majority of the cost of the extension actually comes from the actual hair itself. Hair extensions are very pricey. So honestly, there is no exact amount that your hair is going to cost you. It depends on how long you want your hair, how thick your hair is, if your hair is really fine, if you have a very blunt cut, or if it's very wispy. All of those things will determine how many packs of hair you will actually need. Now, for the most part, hair extensions range from, if you're just filling out the front of your hair, the actual cost could be anywhere from $100 if you just need like a couple pieces put in. And if you're getting a full head, that amount of hair can range anywhere from $500 to $1,000 depending on how much hair you want to put in your head. And for the actual cost of the install is also varied on stylist, if they're certified, if they have been educated a ton, if they're in a very high-end salon, if they're a specialist. Everything like that will determine if your stylist is a junior apprentice or if they are a master stylist. All of these things will come into play when determining your costs at the salon. One thing you should ask when you go into the salon, ask whether their prices are a la carte or if they're not. Because if they are a la carte, that means you have to pay for every little service. Your haircut, your install, your style, your wash, your tone, everything like that. Whereas if it is not a la carte, typically there's just a set price that it goes off. All in all, for your cost, when you're looking at the actual cost of the hair and your cost of your installation, for a full head of extensions, you're looking at anywhere from $800 to $1,700 depending on those variations in there. How long does the hair last? Now, the hair can last for as long as you can make it last. Now, what I mean by that is how well you take care of it at home. Our job as a stylist is to install them properly and give you the knowledge of how to take care of it at home. But at the end of the day, it's your hair and it's you, and I can't braid your hair for you every night. I'm sorry, I wish I could be a little braid machine. It's really determined on how you are taking care of it at home. That comes to your shampoo and conditioner, that comes to your braiding and just brushing your hair. Everything like that will really determine how well your hair can last. Now, if you take care of your hair really good, then you are looking at about 4 reuses. This does depend on the brand of hair that you are using, because some tape-in brands have a very shitty tab at the top, and some brands have the strongest tabs in the world that will never break ever. Those are the kinds that I use. I currently use 2 brands. Well, 3 brands actually. I use Babe and Donabella, which are sister companies. And then I also use Locally Hair as well. Now, I just like using a couple different brands because I can really color match my client the best. If one brand doesn't have it, I have the option of using a second brand, and I can really work with it like that. All right, I think that's enough of me talking now. So why don't we jump into the salon? My makeup might be a little different because it's tomorrow. You can actually see what they look like, and I can explain it better. So a question I get asked frequently is if you lose hair with extensions, and the answer is you do lose a little bit of hair once you remove your hair extensions, but it's only the natural hair that you would be shedding. So typically when you have a day-to-day lifestyle, you'll shed about 100 hairs a day. Now, once you have extensions in, your hair can't naturally shed those 100 hairs, so they shed from your scalp, but they still stay where your bond is. So upon removal, when you're taking out the hair extensions, you will see a little bit of hair coming out, but that's nothing to be afraid or scared of. It's totally normal. So like I was saying before, tape-ins are a really good alternative for any type of hair. So as you can see, my client here has very fine, thin hair, so it's hard for her to get a more bulkier type of extensions. With tape-ins, they lay so flat to your hair, you can tie your hair up, you can do anything and everything with them, and they will not slip out of your hair, they will not do anything crazy, they don't do tricks, but they just make your hair look good. So another question I get asked all the time is tips on how to remove your tape-ins. Now, tape-ins are a little bit trickier to remove because they do have some yucky, gunky stuff that'll stay in your hair if they're not removed properly. So what we do to avoid all that gunky grossness is we will soak the tape-ins right at the bond and just leave it in the remover for as long as we possibly can. So I like to typically leave the remover in the hair for about 15 minutes. And then I just open up all of these extensions, remove them out of her hair, and then go back in with the remover and leave the remover in for another 15 minutes. And in that process, I usually get my extensions prepped and ready to go to reinstall them. And while that time, the remover will take off any of the extra gunk that we're trying to get rid of, shampoo her really good, and then we are good to go. So a common misconception about tape-in hair extensions is that they give you volume on the top of your hair, and that is very false. They are not miracle workers, they do not perform tricks, they will just add thickness to your ends of your hair and volume to the overall density of your hair, but unfortunately they will not add any volume to the top of your hair. So the actual installation time of tape-ins are very fast. I can do about a full head in about 35-40 minutes. So they are so quick, so easy, and they're really great for girls who are on the go and they don't have time to sit for about 4 hours to get extensions installed. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you guys have any further questions, please leave it in the comments down below and I will be responding back to everyone. Now, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. I do post new videos every Monday and Wednesday. And without further ado, we'll catch you in the next one. Bye!